Hey crew, Mark Hatmaker here. Let's talk a little bit about the Tomahawk. I got my mock-up right here, one of the cold steel mock-ups. We'll use it for demo purposes. You got to have mock-ups, but you got to keep in mind training with them all the time is to our detriment because they allow us to fall prey to a few illusions. Here's one illusion from the historical record. A lot of the numbering systems we see now for Tomahawk work are just simply untrue. It's not historically accurate. And it's okay if I would have less of a quibble if it weren't for the fact that the inaccuracy is also leads to some dubious practice that will actually cause us to do some self-harm, self-injury. So why don't we do what was actually historically done for good reason? And so I'm going to give you a small example of this. Numerical systems, I'm just pick, we'll pick one. We'll take an 8 system, which for example we'll see this 4 in 1, 2, then up 3, 4, lateral 5, 6, up, vertical, and then there's 8 on the down. Gorgeous when you think about it. You look at it on a wall chart, or you think about this, look how much I've subdivided the body, I can play with these things, and have some multifarious attacks. It's going to be amazing, isn't it? Alright, that's a great idea, possibly for stick, end, or knife. A tomahawk is a weapon of inertia. Meaning that, yes, there is an edge on it. It is a bladed weapon, but it is not trained necessarily as a bladed weapon. You don't have to have a razor-honed edge on a tomahawk to make it work. What's making it work is the mechanics of your snap, is how you throw and blow. It's going to be how much power you're able to seize through proper mechanics. The inertia of the head itself, how much the long lever works. All right, and again, keep in mind a tomahawk is a long it's kind of like a half-length axe, as it were. If you're actually working with something shorter, that is a camp axe, okay? That is a hatchet. That is not a tomahawk. You can work a lot of the same mechanics, but keep in mind that's not necessarily tomahawk. Everything you do with the tomahawk, you can do with a hatchet or a camp axe, but keep in mind, usually if we're trying to be accurate, you're going to be looking at something out here at least 14, 15 inches to the minimum, so you've got more inertia will have to play with. And since we're working with this longer handle than some are working with, the inertial force is going to be greater at the end of this. It's like playing with a weaver stick when you're working your wrist work. Old school physical cultures and bodybuilders, a weaver stick, all the weight is at the end. If you've got a short weaver stick here and all the weight's right here, nothing, no problem. The longer you go out there, you're holding a 5-foot weaver stick and you only have a 2-pound weight at the end, that's going to blow yourself out. So all the more so when you put a big hairy swing on top of that, then you're going to blow your wrist, your elbows, and your shoulders out. If you don't do it immediately, you will do it over time, or you're finding that you're hedging your bet with how you swing, which you don't want, because you're talking about combat and battle. If we're back to how this worked, we talked about that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I'm doing that lazily, but keep in mind, if I put some weight on this, this is just a hatchet, a camp axe, not a tomahawk, but that's a real one. We put the weight on the end of that, and I start trying to take my wrist through these weird upward angles like this, let alone this vertical angle like this. Grab your own. Don't go at speed because you're my friends and I love you, but if you're going at speed, your wrist will blow. It's not meant, the tomahawk is not meant to be wielded in that manner. So we take that same amount of weight, put it on a haft with that kind of length on it like that, and we try and really swing through, we're going to blow ourselves apart. So many of these angles simply did not exist, and for good damn reason. You just don't want to do it that way. Yes, there's some laterals in there, but primarily the inertia of the tomahawk means it is a weapon of 2 ideas. It is movement, advancing, and it is a weapon of ambush. And there's different ways to play both of those ideas. It is not a weapon of duel, meaning we don't stay stock still with it. Everything about the tomahawk is meant to be moving us forward or use specific blows that cause us to work on a pivot. But anything that's having you do this weird supination and pronation, unusual angles with the wrist, not accurate in the historical record, and it's also biomechanically anathema if we want to maintain healthy fingers, wrist, joints, elbows, and stay out of self-cutting harm. All right. For more detail on, I think our material, Battle Axe Secrets, take a look at that. Even though it's a battle axe and much larger, it's a 2-hander to wield with and not a tomahawk, it kind of gives you an idea how deep in the weeds you've got to be about what old school mechanics were and not falling prey to trying to do overlays with another weapon that simply doesn't match the same characteristics and qualities here. So what you might do with the tactical folder is not what you do with the Tomahawk, not by a damn long shot. Anyway, if you want to, take a long numbering system, test it yourself, but only test it with something light. Don't go full bore on it, because you will find out almost immediately what I mean about putting your wrist in jeopardy. And also, any Tomahawk work that comes for you standing stock still and maintaining a range is simply not true. It's inaccurate. Anyway, if you want to actually to work on the real deal and how it was, I'm going to send you over to the Black Box Project. Every one of the volumes we put out now has sections of keep building on our Tomahawk vocabulary, but this was just a little bit of hopefully disabuse of any ideas or tactics, poor tactics that have caused you to hurt yourself, because we know how long it takes a wrist to be injured. Hell, I've busted my hands up so many times with boxers, fractures, throwing punches, and poor use of many things. So it's trying to save you the hassle.